Greetings, everyone out there. My name is Shaw Bond. Welcome to another episode of On the Way. Basically, what I do on these episodes is go over topics I think are thought provoking. Some of them might challenge the way you think, some of them are just things that I find interesting. And so, on today's episode, what I want to discuss is how old is the Earth really? Because if you look at a lot of what they say in the science community will have you believe that the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Now, how they arrive at this is through various dating methods, but mainly this thing called carbon dating, which assumes that the levels or the ratio of C14 to C13 and C12 isotopes have been consistent throughout Earth's history. The issue with this, and I've heard this before, but recently I watched a documentary on it called Is Genesis History? But the issue with this is they found animal bones where the head will measure at one age and the legs will measure at something totally different. And so, how do you arrive at that? I even read one story where they measured somebody who was alive today and got that a tooth in their mouth was thousands of years old, but this person is alive today. And so, just different things like this prove that this is a kind of flawed dating method. But the reason that they want people to believe that the Earth is millions, billions of years old is because that's the only way you're going to have evolution. That's the only way to make you believe that you came from a monkey or that things slowly changed over time. Because if you believe that's an impossible process, and it is, the only way to explain it is say, well, it took millions of years to do. So you're not going to measure it in your lifetime, you know, but the earth has seen it. And it's just, it's just a flawed way of thinking. I think what people are arriving at today is the story that's in the Torah. And scientists do know this. There was a major flood event a few thousand years ago. And I, for years, have thought that it would be hard to tell how long something has been buried if lots of water was put on top of it. Even in your yard, if I threw something in your yard today and it didn't rain, it would take years, or I would say years, but it would take a while, months, for it to get pushed underneath the soil. But if it rains and a level of water sits on it, it's gonna get deep in that mud, and when it dries, it's gonna look like it's been buried for weeks, even though that can happen overnight. And that's kind of what scientists who are, I guess, what you would call creationists or young Earth creationists is what they call it. People who don't believe the Earth is billions of years old. That's what they're arriving at is that it was the global flood event that creates a lot of the fossils and things we see today. I believe dinosaurs were real. I think that before that flood, there were not only giant people, but also giant reptiles. But what I'm suggesting is that that flood probably wiped all of them out. And what the Torah says is Noah took, certain animals on the boat. Apparently, those animals, the dinosaurs that we found fossilized and things like that, apparently they didn't make it to the boat or they became extinct shortly after they died out. A lot of things of that size, again, including giant people, have died out. And so, I guess the best way that this guy said it is that it's more likely that one big event, a quick event, caused the fossils that we see, as opposed to millions of years of gradual, slow change. Another thing that's wrong with that millions of years thing is the missing links in the fossil record. Basically, a missing link would say that if a person went from a monkey to a human, you would need to see all the phases in the middle. And with a lot of animals, they just have not. You know what? I want to show you how the man said it so that I don't misquote.
But they're still sharks. And when we look at the fossil record, they're still sharks. People have heard the phrase the missing link. And they usually think of between man and monkeys. No, there's missing links between almost every major group of animal and almost every other major group of animal and plant, even bacteria, throughout the entire fossil record, which indicates very strongly that these are actually different creations.
So we don't get one kind becoming another kind.
No. Evolutionary theory requires that small, random changes can explain everything we see. But it can't.
And so you could see, like you said, a lot of these fossil records are just incomplete and they've not been found. Um, Even further disproving the millions of billions of year theory. And so when you look at the flaws in carbon dating and you look at the global flood event and just the complexity of our DNA and how intricate our design is, you could just kind of tell that there was an intelligent mind behind it. This isn't something that happened by chance. This is something that happened by intent and intelligence. And so for me, when I arrived at that conclusion that the earth is about 5 to 6,000 years old, it makes me wonder about other things like, okay, well, it wouldn't just be the earth, it would be the entire universe, the stars included. How would that change the way we go about looking at things in space and how long it takes things to happen? And the only thing that can prove what I'm saying is if events that we thought took a long time start happening a lot faster. And I think we're already seeing that with climate change and global warming. A lot of things they thought would take to the year 2100 are going to probably happen within the next 3 to 5 years. And so I think there's just been a lot of misinformation when it comes to the age of this planet that we live on. But regardless of how old you feel the earth is, I hope that we're all on the same accord that it does have a creator. His name is Yah, and ultimately he wants you to obey and be a blessing to his creation and not a curse. And in the end, I hope that we're not even worried about how long it's been here, but how far we're going into the future, because everybody's going to be living forever. And so, wherever you are watching this today, I hope you're having a blessed one, and be sure to bless somebody around you. Shabbat Shalom.